name is Bethanny Loucks. I teach 6th grade, but I also teach 6 plus. So I teach a little bit of the 7th grade curriculum, but not a whole lot of it. So some of this, probably a lot of this is not going to be the same content that you guys need, the same exact standards and stuff, but it's to kind of give you an idea. So something that I started doing, I just kind of was testing things out, is when I was coming up with some assessments, especially my end of unit, end of topic assessments, is I looked at what are the targets that are being addressed. In this case, this was a decimals and volume assessment, and there were 4 different targets that were being assessed, which was a little overwhelming for the first time that I was trying to create an assessment. But ultimately what I did is I made a little table, and I put each target in its own little table, and I made I put the words that made the most sense to me and I thought would make sense to my students. So I really kind of got rid of some of the jargon that's in the scales right now, and I tried to make it just make sense to what was relevant to my class, to my teaching, to my classroom. You know, I just kind of boiled it down to what I thought was important. And then I made sure that I had a level 2 and a level 3 for each target to kind of see how the kids were doing for each target. And I wanted to make sure to have a level 4, but you guys know, well, my 6th graders, they look at question 1, then they look at question 2, and if they get stuck on question 2, they just stay there, you know. So I wanted to make sure that all the level 4s were at the end. That's why you see extra credits all the way at the bottom. It's on the back side, the very bottom of the test. That way they could do it if they had time at the very end, if they were feeling like they wanted to do it. It was extra credit because I'm still using my point-based system right now. As I'm perfecting, I guess is the word that I could use, perfecting this art of creating an assessment using the scales, I keep going back to the Carnegie tests that are provided, and actually a lot of them do have some good foundational questions. They do have some good level 3 questions and even some good level 4 questions. Sometimes I have to change the wording a little bit, or you know, add some extra information or something to make it more relevant to my students, but that is something to know. You don't have to totally create every single test question. I'm getting a lot of those tests straight from the Carnegie tests that are given.
Real quick before you move on, can you kind of share, like, when a kid would get this back, what would be on it? Like, what do you show them for a score kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would do my standard, how I would grade is I would highlight whatever they got wrong. So if they, in the first question, divide the 2 whole numbers. If they set up their long division, that's awesome. And then they started their long division, that's awesome. But then, oops, they made a mistake when they were multiplying down. So that's what I would highlight. I would highlight their mistake. And then I would look at their level 2 and I would look at their level 3, and I would actually highlight on this little scale off to the side, I would highlight where they were on the scale. So if I feel like they were at a level 3, I would highlight where it said 3.0 on that scale. So the kids could see on each of the targets where I assessed, you know, their learning. And it also kind of showed them what else they needed to learn to, you know, move up on that scale. So that, I don't know, honestly, I was scared that the kids would not be interested in knowing where they were on the scale. I thought they would just, you know, what's my letter grade? But it's actually been really cool to see how interested they are in seeing where they are on each of these scales.